Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today we're going to be talking about Lucid Motors going with the ticker LCID. Now in this one here we got a bit of information relating towards this one as new and technical analysis and where I expect this one to go. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. I did cover this one before, Lucid at least, or CCIV. You'll find my previous video in the description below, but today we got new material. So a quick thing here, a note from the CEO relating today's debut into the Nasdaq market. We're on track to meet our projected customer deliveries this year, the next, and into the future. But with the $4.4 billion in funding we have now in the bank, we're able to significantly accelerate our trajectory while also mitigating our risk and delivering in the world's best EV. Lucid will add 2.7 million square feet of additional space at our greenfield factory in Arizona. This will allow us to add a separate line for Project Gravity electric SUV. Even as we accelerate this development, tomorrow I'll head back west to work with the incredible team we've assembled to build Lucid's future. We believe that we're creating the best EVs ever made, but our aspirations go beyond selling cars. Our planet is facing an environmental crisis that impacts every living being and now in the future. That's why we've been working so hard over these many years and will keep working tomorrow and beyond. Humankind doesn't yet have an answer for the problems we face, but we have to start somewhere. At Lucid, we've started with a factory, with a new generation of cars, and plan for many more, the most critically with a path forward on a larger energy and sustainable energy strategy. Just a quick thing, on a side note, they really sound like they're a humanitarian kind of charity. They're building EVs for cheap, but their EVs really cost an arm and a leg. But anyway, that's just a side snarky note out of my own personality. Now on there, in terms of the latest news as well, you do have the last presentation back on May 2021. I'll go over that in a snippet, but here is the summary of what happened now since the merger is completed. So Lucid Motors now is trading under the ticker LCID. The transaction brings $4.4 billion to Lucid. The company has over 11,000 paid reservation for Lucid Air, and the scheduling delivery is around the second half of 2021, which we are in it already. And Lucid's leadership team reflects in culture with excellence, with significant expertise in the automotive and technology industries. In-house EV technology will deliver world-leading performance and efficiency, including a projected EPA range of over 500 miles on a single charge, and a vertically integrated engineering and manufacturing capabilities, including the state-of-the-art EV factory in Casa Grande, Arizona. And a quick thing here. So since the debut, the stock has jumped a little. And there's one thing that I really started to notice here. The market cap is around $6.27 billion. Just keep in mind, this market cap is not correct. Some people have been messaging me asking me whether this is correct. This is not correct. Actual correct market cap is sitting closer to around $24 billion, at least based on the streets. Now, the thing about this one here is this one is really looking back into Churchill's capital number of shares, and perhaps it didn't still update the exact number of shares that we should be taking a look at. So keep in mind relating towards that. If you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right corner and leave your notifications on. Now also, don't forget to drop a like to this video, and you can join our Discord in the description below. Totally free. We're not trying to upsell you on anything on there. Now again, we have $24 billion in terms of valuation. In terms of institutional buyers, we get to see that there is some activities. Spire Wealth today liquidated around 85.6% of their entire shares. Perhaps they're taking a look into, hey, you know, we're breaking even or we made a good decent profit, and we're a little bit anxious because this is at the end of the day is back. But I do expect in the next few days, after the price still stabilizes a little, because 10% up higher is not a stabilization, it's a move, I do believe that institution would start taking a stab into this one and add more shares. Now, there is a lot of eyes taking a look into the EV giant in the market, the Tesla giant or earnings. And usually if Tesla flies off, usually what would happen is that the stock for Lucid would also fly off, or all the EV industry. It's a massive giant, but this one here, this earnings is quite important to see the growth of Tesla and whether it actually is going on as anticipated. And if it does, and a lot of the thesis and a lot of the opinions on there basically are looking for at a very bullish quarter. If that is the case, Lucid would probably as well take an advantage onto that. Now, on the technical analysis part, this is 4 hours, just because on the one day it's going to start taking a look. It's going to start looking messy. So on the 4 hours part, we get to see that we had a very bullish reversal early on in the day, or just early on in the morning, or at least in the very last hours of Friday. And you get to see that we're breaking almost new resistances, and we're going to talk about the resistances because they're very important. But on the RSI, or the William percent R, we're getting to see that it's actually dipping downwards. Dipping downwards, showing that it's a bit overbought and retracting a little. So on this retraction, you do expect that the price point will get a pullback. Now, a pullback is not bad, because a pullback means a lot of people would probably looking at it and say, hey, I wish I bought a 25. It goes to 25, some of them buy. So it's not the end of the world in that sense. MACD is still very bullish, and it still hasn't really lost that momentum. So we probably have a couple of days before that momentum starts fading a little. You're probably going to have green today, most likely tomorrow, but you got to be very careful on that pullback. Now, on a 4-hour scale, this one did get halted today, and it did try to push all the way to 28.39. But currently, it's having a trouble on this very strong resistance around the 27.14. It seems that it tried to break it multiple times today, as in the historical also resistance, which is actually sitting at 27.4, just a tad above there. It seems to be a very strong resistance to break, specifically as well below there, 26.95. So in that range, there's a bunch of resistances. Currently, it's very close to this support. This support is very critical to its success. It's 25.87. So if it does break that, the next strong support is at $25 sharp. And then below there, you're looking into almost $24. And then below there, $22.98 or almost $23. And then down to $22.39. And then things start to look a little bit icky as you go to $20 from 20 to 19 to 18.50, and then down to 17.79 or 17.8, and then down to 17.2. So there's definitely some supports there. Resistances, again, I think the highest resistance we can start taking a look at after the ones I mentioned is 28.9, and then you start going on to around almost $30. From there, things start to look a little bit worse, around $35, and then around $40, and then things start looking a little bit better, where it did spike before, and it did go up to, in terms of the next resistance, up to $53, and then onto that $56, $60, and $62. Comes to the question to Ed, what do you think is probably going to happen? I believe in the next few days it's going to either be a little bit sloppy or going to continue with that strength, at least in the next day. So tomorrow, I do feel like it's probably going to be green. Now, I'm just honestly just sharing my opinion. I don't have a magic ball. No one does. No one can tell you for granted it's going to be green. But I anticipate that most likely this momentum will still be tested, and a lot of people are eyeing into buying this one. It's a $24 billion company, valuation at least, so that's massive. But will it go on to $60 in the next few days? I don't think that that will probably happen, but I think $30 is not far off from here. We can actually see $30. Now that if the momentum keeps going strong, I gave you some key supports and resistances to take a look at, but I do anticipate a bit of cooling down, a bit of stabilization. And if the support levels do break, you might actually get a pullback down to perhaps $23, which is not that bad really taking into consideration for the longer term vision. But what I anticipate is take a look into Tesla's numbers after hours. If they're bullish, this one is very likely to jump. If they're bearish, this one is probably going to get a pullback. So be very careful towards that. Keep an eye into Tesla's today. And I know it's a different stock, but it still has a really significant impact in how Tesla trades as well today and tomorrow because of this massive earnings impact on the entire EV industry as an EV giant. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps. We just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.